What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker podcast. I'm Nick Baker, and across from me, Shane Good.
What's up?
And we are here to talk to you about some video games. But first things first, I want to remind you to go over to Apple Music, Spotify, and Google Play and look for us on all of those podcast services. Download us, listen to us. We're great. Go over to our YouTube channel as well for the video version. Follow us on our social media accounts on Instagram and Facebook to keep up with whatever we're doing, wherever the show's going. You know, you never want to miss an episode. So without further ado, what is this episode? Where are you at gaming-wise? I know you've been busy this week.
This week I got a chance to play some games this week.
Nice.
Which was nice. I leveled a zombie build in PoE. I leveled a meme build in PoE. Like a fucking straight strength stacking. It uses a bunch of convoluted like conversions to create. It basically makes a ability that should stack with physical damage. It makes a physical damage ability stack with spell damage instead of physical damage.
Nice.
By using strength, which strength gives you more health. So the traditional like quote unquote play style is if you have a lot of health, you don't usually have a lot of damage. Or if you have a lot of damage, usually the compromise is that you're a little more squishy.
Right.
So this is like you have a ton of damage and you have a ton of life with like literally no costs at all. Like it's just no costs. You just have a ton of both.
Found a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, it's just like it's a fucking joke to put together. The leveling process is just ridiculous. I mean, absolutely. Like, you don't get your damage until level 60. Like, I know 68, I think it is, or 69. You don't get your damage till, and you finish the actual like game itself as early as 56. So like, you have 12 levels where you just don't deal any damage. You have to just figure out how the fuck you're gonna level 12 more levels, and it's pretty frustrating. It took me 6 hours to level.
Oh my goodness.
On top of the already 7 hours to get to the point where I could level.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's once you get past that part, great. It's fucking fantastic. Don't know if I'm gonna do it again because it was a lot, but you know.
It does sound like a lot. 6 hours leveling a character sounds like I mean, it doesn't sound like a ton of work in the grand scheme of things, but you know.
I mean, it's
a grind.
It's the same map over and over and over. It takes you about 3 minutes to clear one map. So it's like,
oof, mind numbing at that
yeah,
point.
I think I was doing it technically. If I was, you do the math really quick. I was doing 20 runs of the same map. So 20 times 6, I was at 120 runs of one map.
Yeah.
In one sitting. I didn't take any breaks.
You fucking machine.
So.
Yeah. Well, I've been not grinding nearly as much. I've been actually kind of playing the hot potato game here with what I've been playing because I just can't settle on something. But the mainstays are Warzone Season 6. I've been jumping on that. Getting a few wins is it's a little bit easier than it has been. Maybe we're just getting better, or the pool of people is getting larger that is playing. But you know, we've had a few pretty easy ones, I'd say, and that's never something I'd say about a battle royale, at least for me. But
that's fair.
I've also been playing a little bit of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Go back into that. That is it's still the same game, same like struggle it was. There are certain parts of that game that look great, and they call back to the original anime so well, and there are parts of it that are just so disjointed, and a lot of the time it's the canon stuff that they're trying to add into that storyline as like almost filler for you to do to like level up, or just as little tidbits of story to keep you interested that just don't. You want to get to the next part of the main campaign so bad, so you're just kind of blitzing through all this stuff that I feel like is kind of just tacked on a lot of the time. But the fighting isn't terrible. Like I said before, it's still not as good as some of the older Dragon Ball Z games. I feel like they nailed it with like Tenkaichi and
Yeah,
the
classic.
Budokai Tenkaichi series. Like I thought that fighting system, apart from maybe the flight, could have been changed a little bit, but the I think it's the left and top buttons were your melee attacks, and the right button, whatever system you play on, was the key blast. And I always felt like that was the right decision. But now the melee attack is the circle button, and it just throws my whole game off. And I don't think there's a way to change it, but I haven't looked. But yeah, I've been kind of grinding away at that, but not really. I played it for like 3 hours, maybe.
I mean, depending on who you are, 3 hours is a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, over the course of a week, that's nothing for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I totally get that.
But the Warzone thing kind of leads into our first big topic of the week, and that is that Halloween is finally coming to Call of Duty in the form of Haunting of Verdansk. The update is adding a slew of content from popular horror franchises: Saw, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, and I think there's a few more like Freddy Krueger references in there. But they're also adding a new Trick or Treat mode, which introduces zombies. Players that die come back as zombies and have to terrorize everybody that's still living. I guess they have a reduced health pool, but they're faster and their melees hit harder. So that's terrifying.
Hmm.
Uh, as well as like I said, a slew of skins and different weapon skins. What do they call them? Operators, yeah, operator skins, so that you can kind of look like some of these horrifying monsters.
That's kind of fun though.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool little thing for Call because Call of Duty. I don't really remember them doing an event like this ever before, really with Blackout or any of their other multiplayer modes. So this is kind of cool.
I mean, it's definitely like I would say it's different, but it's very much the same as what most people like most of these types of games do. So I guess it's all
Oh,
about like
absolutely.
if you like what they're doing and like what they're adding, then it's cool.
Yeah, I think that especially for like a free update and they're just kind of adding a mode like
Hmm.
you never really would have expected that from a game that you spent $60 on. But
Yeah.
Verdansk is, or Warzone is free, so anybody that is just playing Call of Duty for the Warzone portion of it is getting all of this stuff for free, minus whatever you've spent on the season pass, which you may not have spent anything on the season pass, and this is completely free. So I think it's a cool drop, especially this time of year. I think Halloween is quickly becoming one of the internet's favorite holidays for sure. Anytime you go online around this time of year, everybody's blowing up about not only Halloween but the fall and everything. So
Yeah.
Call of Duty they're playing their cards right with this update and this cool little event that they have going on.
I got you. I'm
But
down on it, dude. I dig it 100%.
yeah. Next big topic, of course, PlayStation's UI was finally revealed this week. There were some big changes. We'll go over some of those. Let's see. The first one, PlayStation Store is fully integrated into the UI, which I thought was really awesome because it being just a straight up app is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's actually super dope to be honest.
So that was one of the biggest takeaways I took from that. The picture-in-picture game help and screen sharing with friends was something that they've added to, which um, could have a lot of really interesting and cool uses. The way they kind of showed it or they framed it in this announcement was you're going onto like a catalog that PlayStation's curated for these helpful little tidbits on certain levels in a game, and you can kind of pop them to the side of your screen as you're playing seamlessly and just follow along with some sort of game help to whatever location or item that you need to find or get.
Hmm.
Um, so in that way, it's kind of cool. I kind of dug it more for the screen sharing aspect because I always thought it was kind of a cool idea to just instantly be able to not just necessarily stream, but like just share your screen with a friend who's like, oh yeah, I'm at this part in this game, or you're just chilling out and you're grabbing a snack while you're in downtime and somebody's still in a game of Warzone, and you're like, oh man, I'll watch them real quick. They just screen share you what they're doing, and you can watch there and wait for the spot to open up. So I don't know. I think there are a lot of really cool implements that you can do with that.
Hmm. I mean, so as this being something that like we do all the time on computer is just like we'll be sitting in Discord and I'll be like getting something to eat and I'll be like, oh, I don't really want to watch like a 10 minutes of a YouTube video when they're like, 20, 30 minutes long. Like somebody will be playing a game and I'll be like, hey, share your screen. I'm fucking bored. Like we
Yeah,
do that all the time at Discord. So it's actually really cool that they're adding a feature like this. And I think like the really key word that you said in this whole thing was seamless. Like
yeah,
that's so important, dude.
yeah. And it is one of the things. Obviously, we'll talk about it much more while we're talking about this. But the quickness, the snappiness of everything in this presentation, at least, was a breath of fresh air because I am so sick and tired of the PS4's UI and how slow it is and how much it uh, ticks up when you have to switch from a game to I've talked about it countless times on the podcast now,
Hmm.
but it's just so slow and to see this beautiful PS5 UI just slapping around and going in and out of games and getting game help, popping it to the side of the screen, pre-recorded or not, I think that that's a lot of what we need to expect from these next gen consoles, and I think that it's going to make gaming so much better for us who have been kind of in the dark ages of as far as UI and as in Speed's case. So,
Yup.
but the next thing on my list here for big changes that they've been making, active game dashboard. So that I didn't really know how to word this one, but when you're popping up from sleep state, similar to PC, it just kind of pops back and you're where you left off. And the way that they frame this is they have a different dashboard for when you're waking up from sleep. It'll
Hmm.
pull up this card menu and it'll have the game in the background and you can immediately press the PlayStation button to continue your game from exactly where you left off, or you can use the card dashboard to flip around, go to the main screen, close your game, or switch to another game that might be waiting in downtime. So that's another cool. They kind of have had this almost there type of deal with this where it suspends your game, but in certain games like online games, it's not going to keep you like right where you left off, or it's not going to keep you in like a multiplayer lobby. But in this case, it keeps you all tethered right in there with your internet connection. It doesn't take you away from anything. So I can see this being used a hell of a lot more by especially me because I just kind of flick on and flick off my PlayStation all the time.
Hmm. Now, all right. So we're gonna walk down fucking random lane here for a second.
All
Uh,
right, random lane.
Random lane right beside what the fuck are we talking about, Vil? So this will be really interesting on the front when it comes to bots. Previous to, it's actually been really difficult for people to make bots for like console games in general because of the way that the system turns off if it gets disconnected. It does. It's really hard to program something to like work as a program when something disconnects, or if you get disconnected and disconnect from the internet, or if you go in standby mode, stuff like that. I'll be very interested to see if we see an incredible increase in botting on consoles.
So
And
what you're saying is I will be able to finally match the PC farming rate in Final Fantasy 14 with
correct,
my newly found bot skills.
100%.
Beautiful.
I'm not. There's so many different types of bot, like quote unquote botting in consoles. I know that a lot of like programs that bot use the controller to like it's a program inside of the controller that just connects to the system type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, so like I don't know. There's gonna be it. I'll be really interested to see what people do with it. I don't personally bought anymore. I used to play some games where I did, and it's always interested me, the programming of it, and people that are able to get such realistic and human-like, quote unquote, abilities in games, with like just the ability to kind of like make minute fuck ups, so it seems like it's actually a person and it's not just perfect every time.
Right.
I always find that really interesting, but I'll be very interested to see what happens with the PS5 because that actually will make a really big difference. Not dropping internet connection when you go on standby.
Right. The last thing I wanted to mention about the UI that kind of caught my eye was the card system that they're talking about here.
Oh yeah.
The cards that you're going to have as your UI are going to be customizable, so you'll be able to change their functions and how they interact with the PS5 UI on like a systems level. So you can set up like, oh, I want this to launch me into this game, or I want this to have all like it, as like a drop down folder, have your specific favorites in this, and it could be like a playlist of games that you have up and running constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think there are some interesting ways that you can implement that. Maybe not the biggest and coolest change, but I think that there's a future for customizable icons and stuff like that on the dashboard.
I mean, not that obviously I'm a big fan of like jailbreaking, quote unquote, but
Mm.
I'm sure at some point
I'm not, you know what I mean?
I always it's just a technical feat that I enjoy interacting with. A lot of the people that do that type of jailbreaking stuff don't do it for legal reasons. They do it for the technical feat itself.
Mhm.
And I enjoy that part of it, but a lot of times the technical feat also is encountered with, well, we've done it. Now, how crazy can we like customize like the way
Mhm.
that the dashboard works and different things like that? So I'll be interested to see the type of customization that people create when something like that happens, especially if
Right.
they're like allowed to run specific programs all the time. Like for me, I have a wallpaper program that's it's literally like I play videos on my wallpaper.
Oh
Like
yeah.
full anime openings. I'd be really interested to see if like Wallpaper Engine could run on a PS5 in the background. You always have like a fucking like an anime opening or something because I'm a fucking weeb, but you always have it, like
Yeah.
something going in the background, different things like that. I'll be really interested to see if that's like something that's possible to happen.
Yeah. So we finally have the PlayStation UI revealed. It's one step closer to that next gen. And one of the games that's coming on next gen, and it looks incredible on all the pre-built Xboxes that we've seen gameplay for, is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And
Mm.
previews are finally up for this. A lot of embargoes have dropped, so people are able to talk about all kinds of crazy new stuff. IGN has a ton of information and videos on this upcoming game, and we watched a few of them, or watched at least one of them, and I jotted down some of the cool new things that they're bringing to this franchise because it's one of my probably all time favorite video game franchises as it has been in the post PlayStation 2 era of
Mm-hmm.
things. Um, the first new edition that they're coming out with in this new one, they have revamped the quest system. So they've cleaned it up quite a lot from
Oh
what it has
yeah.
been in the previous Assassin's Creed, where it's been this horrifying list of quests that just keeps building and building and building because the world is so big and you're meeting so many different characters and you're just compiling all this bullshit on top of the quests that you are meant to be doing. The mainline quests, they just get buried in these in a crazy amount of just side quests and whatever other activities that you get your hands on. But now the quest system is going to take a complete turn on the other side where it's not going to give you any of those notifications on like a side panel or anything like that. Everything's going to be like HUD and world map based. So not even all those crazy icons on the map are going to show up. You're going to have to go to certain synchronization points,
Mm-hmm.
and those will highlight certain places on the map in the actual, when you're on the screen viewing them, there'll be like these little towers of light that you can go to, and they don't differentiate types, or not types. They don't differentiate um, whether they're a main quest or a side quest. I think it's based on what things you're going to be doing in that quest, like whether it's a raid or it's a conquest battle or whatever the hell they're going to call these. So I thought that was really cool. I think that anytime that a game is more simplified in the quest structure, I find that I'm more engrossed in the world itself, and I usually tend to explore a lot more. That plays in a lot in Zelda Breath of the Wild. Excuse me. Uh, because there's just so much of that world that you're immediately given access to, and you're like, wow, I go everywhere in here, and you dig through everything. You just find your way into all kinds of crazy problems, and you didn't have to even pick up a quest. So I think that that's what Assassin's Creed is really trying to go for, is that more exploration based gameplay this time around, and the cleanup quest system is helping them with that. What do you think?
I mean, yes.
Yes.
No,
I'm
honestly,
glad you agree.
I 100% agree. It's definitely it's really cool the way that they're looking at the quest system, and like not having just a fucking pile of things that you have to do, and like A, it's very overwhelming as a player, and then B, it's also like a task list. And I don't know, I don't find tasks lists super fun in video games a
Mhm.
lot of times. Like I'd rather kind of just fuck around, and then if I stumble across something, I'll do it. So that I feel like that works with me better personally. Um, I do also like the looting system. I know we didn't really, no, there was nothing mentioned. I like the idea that they're going to be less looting and more upgrading and customization to how you want to play with it, which is really
Mhm.
cool. I just picked, that was like the one, like I picked up on that like super quick because I was like, damn,
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
actually really cool.
That is a really interesting new wrinkle that they're adding in there, because Odyssey and Origins were so flooded with loot.
Yeah.
They're com- they're shortening the loot by it seems quite considerably, because they're going to have specific pieces of loot that you're going to get in the world that you can upgrade to. Yeah, I think there were like 3 or 4 tiers per piece of item or piece of gear. So
Yeah.
that alone has me excited to see what like really cool unique pieces that you can find in the world, rather than like just picking up the same sword with better stats each time.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
definitely gonna be like, it's a little more like Diablo-esque, where you have like generic things that you could upgrade that you never will, and then you find a couple of like really cool pieces that you can upgrade, and they have like a couple different skills or a couple different variations of each one of them,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah. The icon system, I think we vaguely mentioned that in the quest system, and the
Yes.
bird. So I'm gonna mention these
Oh,
both in the same in the same breath. The icon system was revamped, and the bird is nerfed. So
hard
these go
nerf.
hand in hand, because in Origins and Odyssey, the Falcon companion that you have, or Eagle companion, whatever the fuck bird it uh, is such a useful tool. And in a lot of ways, it's an OP tool, which you fly above the map that you're currently on. You can have a literal bird's eye view of the area, and you can one by one mark all of the enemies in that area so that you know where they are, just looking around as your character on the ground. They're changing this now to where your bird can vaguely mark out single targets, and that's kind of how you're going to have to work around all that. And I don't think that they really mention much else about the bird, other than you as the player have a bird's eye view of the area, so you're going to have to memorize um, where guards are, or where certain entrances are, or maybe where some weapon stashes or loot is, so that you can kind of make your way around the enemies, be a little bit more stealthy like that.
Hmm.
But I think it's a good thing that they've kind of nerfed it a little bit, just because I mean, in every encounter you're in Assassin's Creed, you're just going in and out, and you're flipping up to the bird, back down to your guy, up to the bird, and it's just a weird constant like accordion like motion where your
Yeah.
screen is just like completely up down up down up down, and yeah, it gets kind of weird when you're trying to stealth your way around stuff like that. But now they seem to be taking more of a streamlined approach where, all right, you're going to have your bird companion, you're going to be able to see these things, but you're not going to just be able to permanently mark everything out so that you can just work work the system like that.
Hmm. It's I like the bird nerf personally because I feel like it's a little more like you have to actually play the game. I almost felt like the bird was cheating.
A little bit, and
Like
in a way, but you know, is it cheating if they give you a, you know, there's all these hairs that
yes.
we have to split.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, it's totally cheating. But I mean, at the same time, you know, don't give me this overpowered bird god.
Yeah, no. I get it. I do. I get it for sure.
Uh, Another big thing that they're changing is not only will you be able to pick the sex of your character, but you will be able to customize their look and, most importantly, their beard.
That's right. Beards are important.
Yeah, it's really too bad that I can't grow one.
I can no I can't.
Yeah, you may not have ever seen our faces, but I'll tell you this: they don't have beards on them. Oh
Touche.
man, but yeah, customizable characters is a cool thing that they're adding here because, you know, gone on record plenty of times saying how much I love character customization. I'll spend hours in there making it look exactly like me or exactly like the Hulk. Not the Green Hulk either, like Hulk Hogan.
Yes, perfect.
But you know, I digress. Settlements are making their debut in Assassin's Creed, or not. I guess they're not technically new because Assassin's Creed 2 sort of had like a homestead area, but this is going to be a traditional hub where you're going to be building it up. You're gathering resources to upgrade certain aspects of your camp, and you're going to have all of these different people that live in your camp. I'm almost 100% certain that you're going to be able to recruit people to your camp. So
That's pretty
it's kind of
cool.
your own little world builder inside of Assassin's Creed. So they're kind of trying to dip their hands into many pots, but they've uh, they've kind of come out unscathed on their last few risks. So I feel good about this one.
I
Do you
mean,
what do you think about like settlement type stuff in games like Fallout 4 kind of did stuff like this? What do you think?
yeah, I was gonna bring up Fallout 4. I think it's actually pretty cool. Like I
Yeah.
like the idea between everything. It's just another way to customize stuff, and I think that the more you do for customization, there's just a lot. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with it.
Hmm.
I think it'll just be another way for you to kind of like interact with the world and just like sure you get a reward for like pillaging a village as like a yeah you might get some loot but you also get to like grow your settlement per se or you get to like upgrade something that allows you to upgrade your shops to upgrade a different piece of gear. Like I just feel like it's that extra layer of just more to do in the game itself,
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really cool thing.
And the last thing here, probably the biggest thing that I think that they're adding to this game specifically, because I don't really think there was a whole lot of it in Odyssey and Origins, was world events. And these are like small little node quests that happen randomly in the world, similar to like a Red Dead Redemption 2, where they kind of just have these random little events happen all over the place. They're going to be like quest structured little events that happen, and you stumble upon them. You can either interact with the people or not. They're completely optional, and a lot of the times, the ones that they gave examples of in the video that we watched, it was like, you know, comedy relief and character building and all these really cool things that are completely optional to you but increase your value in the game so much. The Witcher 3 was probably the king of this, where every once in a while, I mean, they were standardized quests. You could walk up to them, get them on a quest log, and store them away and come back to them at any point. So it wasn't like dynamic in the world and you had to complete it at that time. I'm not sure if these are like that or not. If you can actually miss content by leaving a certain area, that would be really cool in my opinion. But
Yeah, it definitely would make more replayability in some ways.
right, it makes your choices and actions matter more in the world, whether you do something or you don't do something. Not doing something sometimes could be more impactful than actually helping or hurting the situation. So that I thought that was a really cool addition. It makes me super excited to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla next month on our shiny new consoles, or at least my shiny new console. You'll be shining up those old GPUs and CPUs to play this one. But one last thing I wanted to mention about the game is that they're going to Ireland and Paris in their DLC, so that's going to be pretty cool. Never played a game in Ireland before, so
I don't think I have either.
And they'll be going back to Paris after the flop that was what was the Assassin's Creed in Paris called?
I didn't know there was one in Paris.
Yeah, it was the first multiplayer one. I can't remember. But anyway, that's all we got for you this week. If you like this, of course, go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Comment below any questions, comments that you might have about the show. Ask us about us. We're people too.
It's true.
Go find us on Apple Music, Spotify, and Google Play. You can download our podcast there and watch our still video on YouTube. But we'll be right here for you next week with more gaming topics and news for you. So stick around. We love you. Peace.
Peace.